Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Sylvia Yolanda from Session B, and this time I would like to present my paper research. It's about comparative study on student learning outcomes, use virtual learning and face-to-face learning. And in this occasion, I would like to explain about my paper in chapter 1 and chapter 2. So, in chapter 1, I will explain about the introduction of my research. That there are some points of my research. For the first point is my background of the study, and the second one is the identifications of the problem. The third one is formulation of the problems, and for the next point is hypothesis of the research, and the fourth point is about the purpose of my research, and the last one is definition of key term. And then in the chapter 2, I will explain about my the literary review of my research. There are 3 points, that is theoretical of the study, and then the review of related finding, and for the last point is about the theoretical framework. So please pay attention. Okay, in chapter 1 I will explain. For the first point is background of my study. Advance in science and technology, or IPTEC, especially information and communication technology, or ICT, are so fast. This progress certainly affects various areas of life, including education. In line with that, educational autonomy and educational globalization that emphasizes competition and quality have begun to take place. The successful implementation of the autonomy and globalization of education can only be achieved by utilizing information and communication technology in the educational process. Learning is at the core of the educational process. According to Cox 2009, implementing classroom technology in school is needed because it can help students to prepare for the future, and as we are in the digital era, which makes us should know how to use it properly. Based on Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, um, it's about 93% of teachers already use digital tools in classroom, which means there are still teachers who do not use digital tools. Thus, we get the conclusion that technology is useful for learning process. There are several kinds of virtual learning environment and educational tools that available for both student and teacher, such as Google Classroom, Prezi, Zoom Meeting, e-learning, and Kuiper. All of the tools have their own strengths and weakness, in which each tool of the virtual learning was very accessible for the student that doing distant learning, and virtual online learning media is a development of computer-based learning and virtual schools, namely learning through computer media in the form of learning programs that present subject matter according to the curriculum that applies to school. This learning program can include aspects of presenting subject matter, practice and exercise, tutorials, simulation, and games, which students can learn anytime and anywhere without using an internet network. The internet network is very important in this method. And then the concept of virtual learning was developed not to replace face-to-face learning. The combination of face-to-face learning with the concept of virtual learning will allow for an increased the quality of learning. In addition to increasing the effectiveness and efficiency of students, virtual online learning media was developed to support face-to-face learning, and this media can be applied as a means of supporting the learning process in distant education or combined with direct learning or face-to-face in the class. So, based on the explanation above, the researchers would like to compare the study on students' learning outcomes using virtual learning and face-to-face learning. For the second point is the identification of the problem. The researcher conduct the research of the student of SMK and Satu Mandau learning outcome that use virtual learning and face-to-face learning in the condition that are currently facing a pandemic. And on SMK Negeri Satu Mandau, they are use Kuiper, Zoom meeting, and e-learning. Therefore, to reduce the number of cases in the world, officially decided to do online learning. For this reason, a simple curriculum was created to continue the learning process, and online learning is the one way that can be applied in the world of education. And then the next point is formulation of the problem. Based on the identification above, the problem of this research can be formulated as how the student activeness when they are not in the class that doing face-to-face learning, how the student participation in era pandemic that is virtual learning method, and how the comparative of study on student learning outcomes using virtual learning and face-to-face learning. And for the next point is hypothesis of the research. Based on the formulation of the problem, the hypothesis of my research is between virtual learning and face-to-face learning do not have a big difference on study learning outcomes. And with this virtual learning will make students' learning outcome is more have the satisfy result in their lesson and do not make a big impact for the students' learning outcome when doing virtual learning. And the next point is the purpose of research. The purpose of this research is to know how the students' learning outcomes when the teacher use virtual learning and do not make any meeting in face-to-face that usually the teacher use before pandemic like face-to-face learning that make a meeting in the class. And with this little change of method in teaching will not make more effect for the student learning outcomes. And then for the last point in chapter 1 is definition of the key term. In discussing this title, the researchers find several terms that need further explanation as clearly and as possible to avoid misunderstanding in this research study. For the first is learning outcomes. Learning outcomes can be described as competencies which students to achieve, and it is according Werner 2001. And then ICT, information and communication technology. Some components ICT is some components that sustain modern computing rules. And then for the next one is e-learning. According Guri Rosenblatt in 2005, E-learning is the use of electronic media for a variety of learning purposes that range from add-on function in conventional classroom to full substitution for the face-to-face meeting by online encounters. And for the next key term, the last key term is Google Classroom. Google Classroom is a tool which facilitates students and teacher collaborations. Also, teacher can create and distribute assessment for the student in online classroom and for free. Okay, for the next explanation about my chapter 2, it's about my literature review of the research. For the first point is theoretical of the study. In theoretical of the study, I will explain two method in teaching English, that is virtual learning and traditional learning. And virtual learning, I make two example of virtual learning, that is Google Classroom and e-learning. As we know, virtual learning is a development of computer-based learning and virtual school, namely learning through computer media in the form of learning programs, in which that present subject matter according to the curriculum that applies to school. These learning programs can include aspects of presenting subject matter, practices and exercises, tutorials and simulations, in which students can learn anytime and anywhere with using an internet network. And then this virtual learning was developed not to replace face-to-face learning, but this virtual learning help the government to still make the education work in this era pandemic. Yang mana virtual learning ini adalah salah satu bentuk pengembangan dari pembelajaran berbasis online, berbasis komputer, yang mana virtual learning ini digunakan untuk membantu proses pembelajaran yang tengah kita hadapi saat ini, yaitu di era pandemi saat ini. Dan virtual learning ini tidak untuk mengubah kurikulum yang ada, tetapi untuk membantu kita atau guru dalam mengajar dengan tidak melakukan meeting atau pertemuan di sekolah. Dan virtual learning ini mencakup beberapa aspek seperti proses penyampaian pelajaran itu berupa melakukan praktis dengan menggunakan alat-alat online yang ada, lalu melakukan beberapa latihan, terkadang juga tutorials dan simulasi. And the most important achievements of virtual learning can be listed as follows. The first, quality increase of learning by and knowledge of students. And then facility of access to large volume of information and science in the world. And then is a quick and on-time access to inform in a very little time. And for the next one is decrease of some educational costs and promotion of quality, accuracy, and precision of scientific material and subject matters. Yang mana capaian terpenting dari pembelajaran virtual dapat kita klasifikasikan. Yang pertama itu peningkatan kualitas pembelajaran dan pengetahuan siswa. Diharapkan dengan virtual learning ini kualitas dari pembelajaran dan pengetahuan siswa dapat meningkat, dan juga fasilitas akses ke sebagian besar informasi dan ilmu pengetahuan. Jadi siswa dapat mengakses banyak informasi dan juga ilmu pengetahuan dengan kebebasan untuk mengakses beberapa tools online yang digunakan untuk mencari pembelajaran. Selanjutnya yaitu selain itu, proses pembelajaran ini juga membutuhkan waktu yang cukup cepat, yang mana dalam waktu singkat ini siswa dapat mengumpulkan banyak informasi dan juga pengetahuan. Jadi siswa tidak perlu merasa bosan karena dengan banyak informasi tersebut dapat membantu siswa dalam meningkatkan proses pembelajaran nantinya. Dan juga selain itu juga dengan virtual learning ini penurunan beberapa biaya pendidikan seperti misalnya pada saat kita melakukan kelas secara tradisional seperti pertemuan di sekolah, kita memerlukan banyak biaya seperti ongkos untuk berangkat sekolah atau biaya kita makan di sekolah. Dengan virtual learning ini lebih menghemat biaya kita dengan kita tetap berada di rumah. Selanjutnya itu promosi kualitas, akurasi, dan ketepatan bahan ilmiah dari materi pelajaran. Jadi kita dapat menemukan pengetahuan dan juga informasi dari berbagai penelitian misalnya untuk mahasiswa seperti kan. Jadi data yang kita peroleh seperti informasinya itu dapat lebih akurat dan memiliki kualitas yang bagus. Okay, for the next is the example of virtual learning. The first example is Google Classroom. The definition of Google Classroom according to Bill in 2006 to 2017, Google Classroom is a tool which facilitates students and teacher collaborations. Also, teacher can create and distribute assessments for the student in an online classroom for free. It makes teachers simple build groups to share assessment and announcement. Google Classroom can be a tool that makes learners become active participants. Google Classroom is helpful to all of learner categories and including adult learners. It also has some benefits such as paperless can access it anywhere and everywhere as long as there is internet connection and from any device. And then the other benefit is to communicate between teacher and student, to give feedback to student in any time. And Google Classroom make it easier for the teacher to handle student works. It is really beneficial for both teacher and student because it is easy and simple to use. Menurut dari Bill tadi pada tahun 2017, yang mana Google Classroom ini adalah alat yang memfasilitasi kolaborasi siswa dan guru, yang mana guru dapat membuat dan mendistribusikan tugas untuk siswa di kelas secara online dan juga gratis. Yang mana guru dapat membuat beberapa kelompok siswa secara online, yang mana dengan membagikan tugas atau pengumuman atau juga penyampaian materi secara online ini. Jadi diharapkan dengan Google Classroom ini siswa dapat aktif dan juga guru dapat menangani secara langsung dan dengan Google Classroom ini kita dapat mendapatkan beberapa manfaat, seperti kita dapat mengurangi penggunaan kertas, dan juga selain itu kita dapat mengakses pembelajaran di mana saja dan kapan saja selagi ada koneksi internet ini. The next example of virtual learning is e-learning. Okay, the definition of e-learning from MBA website, it describes e-learning as an education over using electronic delivery methods such as CD-ROMs, video conferencing, websites, and email. In short, e-learning is defined as digital strategy quotes. E-learning is actually learning that is facilitated by the use of digital tools and content, which typically involves some form for interactivity, which may include online interaction between the learner and the teacher or peers. Yang mana e-learning ini adalah salah satu bentuk pendidikan yang menggunakan metode pengiriman secara elektronik seperti CD-ROMs, konferensi video, situs web, dan email. Siswa dapat mengupload beberapa bentuk file seperti Word, PDF, dan kadang bisa mengupload foto dan juga presentasi atau dalam bentuk PowerPoint. Singkatnya, e-learning ini diartikan sebagai kutipan strategi digital, yang mana pembelajaran yang difasilitasi oleh penggunaan alat dan konten digital yang biasanya melibatkan beberapa bentuk interaktif, yang mana e-learning ini memungkinkan guru melakukan interaksi secara online melalui web tersebut, interaksi antara siswa dan guru atau interaksi antara siswa dan juga teman sebayanya. And for the next one is the traditional learning. In traditional learning, I make the example of traditional learning is face-to-face learning, like we usually use in the school. There are a teacher and the student in the classroom. And according to Mark, in 2002, a traditional classroom is defined as rooms consist of clean pastel-colored walls and rows of charts facing a lecturer were placed under the microscope. And the question arises, does it support learning, and especially student-centered learning? The traditional classroom consisting of straight rows of chart facing a podium surrounded by pastel-colored walls makes student interaction difficult, does not simulate the sense or the mind, and promotes rote learning. And traditional classroom method is the main method applied during teaching and learning process. The teacher had used various ways in delivering the knowledge, in verifying the teaching method and mode. Students brought extra material to get student attention and assuring information is well delivered. They use whiteboard, handouts, flashcard, and mahjong paper to create creative presentation. And the existing of technology had encouraged the teacher to use more technological teaching aids in the class, such as LCD projector with computer, presentation software, online material, displayer, and etc. The teacher always put extra effort during the teaching process. This is done in order to intensify students' interest towards the class and the same time increase their understanding. Yang mana dalam tradisional ini guru harus memberikan perhatian ekstra agar siswa memiliki ketertarikan terhadap materi ajar yang akan disampaikan oleh guru nantinya. Dan dengan perkembangan zaman dan juga perkembangan teknologi dan informasi pada saat ini, guru dapat menggunakan berbagai media untuk menyampaikan materi ajarnya agar siswa lebih tertarik untuk melihat materi ajar yang akan disampaikan oleh guru tersebut, seperti dengan menggunakan LCD projector untuk presentasi materi ajar. And then for the second point of chapter 2 is the review of related finding. There are some previous researchers which are relevant to this study. For the first is research from Ha Uzun Boily and the friends on 2011 did research about efficient virtual learning environment, a case study of Web 2.0 tools and Windows Live Spaces. The aim of this research is to integrate Web 2.0 tools, which are sparsely found on the internet, into education and see if it positively affects learning. Also, student opinions about this from environment will be sought. And this research the study sample consists of 55 students, in which descriptive statistics were calculated and a pair sample test was used in order to compare pre-experience test and post-experience test. Means for the second research from Salcedo Claudia S. in 2010. The study is about comparative analysis of learning outcomes in face-to-face foreign language classes versus language lab and online. The purpose of the study is a subsequent semester compare and intermediate class talk in the traditional classroom compared to some class conduct online. And for the third study is from Iftakhar in 2016. The study is about what and how Google Classroom works, in which the purpose of the study is to report the overall view of Google Classroom from different classes. This research presents brief features of Google Classroom. And then for the last one is from Fishman and Friends in 2013. The study is about comparing the impact of online and face-to-face professional development in the context of curriculum implementation, in which the purpose of the study is to examine differences in the teacher and student learning from professional development or PD in two modalities, online and face-to-face. And the study explore whether there are differences in teacher knowledge and belief, teacher classroom practice, and student learning outcomes related to professional development or PD modality, and comparison of classroom practice and student learning outcomes normally difficult to establish in PD research, is facilitated by the use of common set of curriculum material as the content for professional development and subsequent teaching. Yang mana ada beberapa penemuan atau hasil penelitian dari beberapa peneliti, yang mana dalam penelitian pertama yaitu memiliki tujuan untuk mengintegrasikan alat web 2.0 yang jarang ditemukan di internet. Dan juga dalam hal ini pendidikan dapat dilihat apakah hal itu secara positif mempengaruhi pembelajaran siswa tersebut. Selain itu, pendapat siswa tentang lingkungan yang terbentuk ini juga akan dicari. Dan juga sampel dari penelitian ini terdiri dari 55 siswa yang datanya dikumpulkan, dan juga menggunakan statistik deskriptif untuk menghitung dan menguji sampel secara berpasangan dengan digunakan untuk membandingkan rata-rata tes pra-pengalaman dan juga tes pasca pengalaman dari siswa tersebut. Dan selanjutnya penelitian yang kedua yaitu membahas tentang analisis perbandingan hasil belajar siswa pada kelas bahasa asing secara tatap muka dan dengan lab bahasa dan online, yang mana tujuannya itu dalam semester berikutnya dapat membandingkan kelas menengah yang diajarkan di kelas tradisional dibandingkan dengan kelas online yang dilakukan secara bersamaan. Skor penilaian dibandingkan untuk kuis, tes, wawancara lisan, dan ujian akhir, yang mana penelitian ini menunjukkan kinerja kelas lebih baik pada 3 dari 4 penilaian. Namun, perbedaan ini tidak signifikan dengan pembelajaran secara online. Dan penelitian yang ketiga yaitu dari Iftakhar tahun 2016, yang mana penelitiannya itu tentang bagaimana menggunakan Google Classroom atau bagaimana Google Classroom ini bekerja terhadap siswa, yang mana partisipasi dari siswa dan juga guru sangat membantu dalam proses Google Classroom ini. Dan juga bentuk pengumpulan datanya yaitu dengan cara interview dan observasi. Dan juga dengan menggunakan Google Classroom ini diharapkan dapat membentuk atau menghasilkan bukti baru dari potensi dari Google Classroom ini untuk pembelajaran dengan metode pembelajaran yang akan diajarkan oleh guru secara online. Dan yang terakhir yaitu penelitian dari Fishman dan teman-temannya pada tahun 2013, yang mana penelitiannya itu tentang perbandingan pengaruh dari online kelas online ini dengan face to face atau pembelajaran secara tatap muka dalam konteks mengimplementasikan kurikulum dengan metode pembelajaran tersebut. Maksud dari penelitian ini adalah untuk menguji perbedaan pembelajaran guru dan siswa dari pengembangan profesional dalam 2 modalitas atau 2 metode, yaitu online dan juga tatap muka. And for the last point of chapter 2 is theoretical frameworks. In a sense, the main topic of this research is to identify what are the students' learning outcomes on virtual learning method at English Language Department as one of learning tools, and I use survey method to reach the data and conduct on the student in 2019 and 2020, in which from the figure 1 that explain about the theoretical framework of researcher of my research, make the paper that the virtual learning makes some effect for the student learning outcomes, in which when this method used to give the lesson for the student, the activeness and participation of the student have been decreased. When the teacher doing to teach such on the meeting online or discussion online, only some students that participate in the class online and the other students being passive in that meeting. So this virtual learning make the students not be active and in the meeting when teacher deliver the lessons. Yang mana dalam figur pertama itu menjelaskan bahwa theoretical framework itu yang mana perbedaan antara hasil belajar siswa dengan secara online dan juga secara tatap muka memiliki beberapa perbedaan seperti keaktifan dan juga partisipasi siswa ketika belajar online itu berkurang, di mana banyak siswa yang mengeluhkan terjadinya gangguan sinyal atau sinyalnya tidak stabil dan mereka susah untuk mengikuti pembelajaran secara online tersebut, di mana dirasakan pembelajaran secara tatap muka lebih efektif bagi siswa. Jadi dalam theoretical framework ini pembelajaran secara virtual ini memiliki beberapa pengaruh terhadap hasil dari belajar siswa sendiri, yang mana dalam virtual learning ini berkurangnya siswa yang aktif untuk belajar dalam pembelajaran yang disampaikan oleh gurunya, dan lebih banyak siswa yang menjadi pasif ketika melakukan diskusi secara online itu sendiri. Okay, I think that's all of my explanation about my research that is in chapter 1 and chapter 2, and I have explained about my introduction and my literature review in chapter 1, in chapter 2, and chapter 2. Thank you for your attention, and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.